Good evening, family. Happy weekend. I hope you all had a blessed weekend. Last week went absolutely crazy. Shout out to the family. Shout out to the group. Just bangers on top of bangers. We had shout out to Ethiopian Queen, called a few plays. Goose called a few plays. Shout out to Kay as well. And congratulations on your new bundle of joy, right? We've just been going absolutely crazy. Very, very proud of the group. And we're looking to continue some of that momentum into this week. Just to throw out some things that just happened, Trump threatens bombing and secondary tariffs on Iran, and therein does not make a deal on nuclear program with US. So he's also threatening Russia with some tariffs on oil. So I want to kind of see how that affects oil plays. With the bombing threats and the tariffs, I do expect a gap down by the time this video is released. So take each tick I'm going to talk about with a grain of salt because we can expect some volatility going into next week. We also have red news from Tuesday all the way to Friday, with some of those being jolts and unemployment change. So a lot to look forward to this week, but we will take it day by day and we will adapt to the volatility like we've been doing. So just to jump into my watch list, things I will be paying attention to going into this week. I'm gonna start off with some shorts. I'm going to switch it up. I'm liking the way Apple look for a short, right? For some puts to the downside. So let's start with the week. We have a failed two up on the week. That's something that we like to see when we want to get into some puts. We want that continuity to the downside. I also like how Apple denied this demand zone. So in the previous price action, price usually pushed to the upside within the price of 225.70. But instead, we went into that zone and we turned that demand into supply or resistance. So I'm looking for a two up, two down to target at least 213.31 and then 209.97. So full time frame constitute to the downside. The month is also red. And checking out that daily, we did go 212 to the downside. So this will be a two down continuation again because of the news and Trump. We might get a gap down on this. So we will have to recalibrate on how to get the entry. If if we don't stay around 217.56, so we'll be looking at that. But to target 213.31, we want to target 209.97. Next week contract should be good for this. If you feel a little risky, you get this week's expiration for a nice little quick day trade. Another short that I like is Roku. Starting with top-down analysis, Roku went two up, two down on the month. Crazy shooter and two down on the month. So we got some continuity right there. And then we went two up, failed two up on the week as well. So looking for that 2-2 rev to the downside. They closed pretty strong to the downside, not even leaving a wick. So again, we might gap down below $72.44, but we'll see how these open up. I'm looking to target 66.27 or at least the opening, which is at $67 right there. I believe 67.81. Come down to the daily. Again, this would be a continuation to the downside. We want to get in this gap. If we go on a smaller time frame, that is a gap to fill to the downside between prices of $69.29 and $67.81. So this will look pretty promising. Again, just got to get the entry if we do gap down. We need to see the TTO back to the upside. We need to see an H pattern or TTO back to the downside to really get some good downside price action on this one. So I will be watching Roku, see what happens. Again, next week contracts should be good for this one as well. If we do happen to get a nice pullback to the upside, if we do get a pullback to the upside, we want to, again, look for that TTO back to the downside. I've seen that a lot of people have BA on their list in the group. I also like the way BA looking to the downside as well, starting with the month. We did have BA try to form a hammer in a month. We went two up, two down, and then they brought it back up. But when we check out this weekly, the weekly has a failed two up. So we want that 2-2 rev. The only level or price range that concerns me is the $71.83 level. Reason being is all you guys got to do is just look to the left. When you look to the left, you can see that wicks form in this area. That means they like to buy in this area as well. So if we can somehow break below that, and if you keep looking to the left, this happens in the past as well. You got the wicks here, right? Look in this range. Look at the wicks. That's buying. This used to be a resistance price point. So again, price has memory. A lot of times, all y'all gotta do is zoom out and look to the left. It's gonna give you information.
Not in
It's going to give
where we
you
are.
information on what happens in that range. So just look to the left when you're looking at these price ranges and try to figure out what price like to do. So I like entry. I like puts below 171.78 instead of the weekly low of 172.45 because I just want to clear that price point to the downside. Right. We do have a gap to fill on BA as well. That's very attractive from 160 for $165 to $162.23. So that looks very interesting as well. Again, all we need is that break below, and this should be a nice put. I also like, again, price has memory. I also like this supply zone area that we tapped as well. We tap supply. This is the range or equal highs. This is the range where price usually sell off. So I like the way BA look. Probably one of the most high priority plays going into next week. So let's check that. So let's check that out. For some upside, I'm liking O Realty. O Realty has the potential to flip the month back green. It did go to $60.39 this month, and then it did pull back. So we're looking to catch the TTO back to the upside. We did dip into the OTE zone at $56.01. So we had the optimal buy entry area, and the optimal buy entry area created a failed two down on the week. So we're looking for a 2-2 ref back to the upside. If we could get at least $58.75, that'd be perfect. The monthlies absolutely play handsomely on O Realty. So some nice Aprils or Mays will be perfect for these. Dropping down to the daily, we have consolidation with an actionable signal on the daily. And as you know, my saying, consolidation create opportunities. As long as price holds structure of $55.57, this play is still valid. I wouldn't cut. So, liking the way old realty is looking, real estate held pretty strong as well while everything was dumping. Again, everything was dumping, and we managed to form a hammer on the daily. That means buyers are sitting in old realty. So that's why it's had my attention. Next tick I'm going to talk about is BNY. Bristol Myers. Shout out to Ethiopian Queen. She called this one about 2 weeks ago. This one actually played. I believe there's another entry setting up on BNY. We do have a three on the week, but what has my attention is the daily. The daily also has a three. Swept the lows, went 2-1-2 to the downside, swept the 50% line of the OTE or the fibs around $58.50, and that would create that 132 back to the upside. So we get that 132 back to the upside. If we can clear $61.34 and then eventually get back to 63.33 and create some new 52-week highs, this setup should pay. So that's the only concern I have with this setup is $61.34. So we will have to really get through that price point. If you look at the previous weeks, that price point always has been is a supply zone or resistance as well. So we just want to get above this zone. If we could do that and tap these highs, then we can see a nice payoff with BNY. So keep that in mind. I like Amgen. Again, with all the weakness going on in the market right now, I'm paying attention to what tickers are holding what level. I think MJ can go both ways. We about to enter a new month and a new quarter, so it could go 2-2 rev. So we're gonna look at this for both ways. It could go two up, two down if it fails to hold 306.95 or it fails to hold the previous month open. Looking at the week, we did sweep the lows on the week, so it didn't really commit to the downside, but it has the potential to retest and drop to the low. We did go 2-on-2 down, so it's very essential to pay attention to what the daily wants to do. It did close the daily in the hammer, and if you look at the price of 304.29, you look to the left, there's wicks in that price range. So that leaves me to believe that buyers like to step in at 304.29. However, if we do not hold this level 304.29, this is also a great put setup. So I'm 50-50 on Amgen for puts and calls. Puts below 304.29, calls above 308.29. If you get the two up continuation and you see these bodies of the candles, we've been consolidating there as well. We get the two up. We can hit 319.31 pretty well. I looked at some contracts for this as well. If you go to analyze, if you are in my group, I taught how to use this tool. If you look at the 330s, right? The 330, April 17 expiration for 83 cents. Looking at 327, which is one of our targets, or 329. Let's put in 329. Oops. So we can hit 329 by 411, April 11th. That's a 402. That is a 402% return. And that's a monthly at that. You can play with the date, go to the 17th. If we hit that buy expiration, that's still over 52%. So I love the risk to reward on this one. Again, if you're in my group, you know what I'm looking at with this tool. We like to measure our contracts to see how much we can get paid by a certain date. And Amgen got some nice potential. That also means we got good potential to the downside as well. So if this does drop, you know, 10 points to the downside of 295, which that can happen, that the downside can pay as well. So look at both sides for Amgen. Last but not least on my list, we have eBay. I like eBay because we have a lot of consolidation going on today. We got some low highs and higher lows. And I'm liking the way this one is compressing. I'm looking for price to eventually break above $68 and again get back up to 71.61. For right now, the weekly, we got a hammer on the week, closed green. So I like that the fact that even though the market was bearish last week, there's some buyers still here. We closed green. We did sweep the lows. We went 212 down, swept. We've been holding this price of $64.88. So that's letting me know that buyers are still sitting in this ticker as well. And we have continuity starting with the month and the QR, right? So I like the way eBay looks. I like the strength that's going on there. And that concludes my watch list going into next week. Not trying to overextend the watch list, trying to keep it really, really, really simple. Again, in the group, we may be adding some tickers depending on what pops up, but this is what we're going to be looking at for right now. Have a great rest of your week. And if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section. All right. Peace.